We get behind this 100%. We knew that this was in the offing because Donald Trump went into, to Venezuela. And so, I like I said, I've never seen anything like this. Calling the mission a disaster on day one, it's remarkable.
No, it's absolutely remarkable, but you just hit a key point that I saw on some cable segments. Somebody said beautifully. He said, look, in the past, historically, it was always the situation that when some type of military situation like this developed, everybody would put the politics down, put the politics aside. Exactly what you just said. Show the patriotism, show the support for the military and their families, et cetera, et cetera. So here, it is just beyond breathtaking. And I've of all the Trump stuff, honestly, the Russiagate, complete and total hoax, the impeachments, that trial in New York City, which was absurd on the business records, the trial in New York City where nobody lost a dime on loans, and on and on and on and on. Having said that, this is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. The fact that, by the way, for them to go in and take out the Ayatollah and 40-plus senior leaders in one shot within the first hours of it is just absolutely phenomenally successful. So to watch these people try to strain to the breaking point to argue that there's something wrong with it is absurd. Yeah. The question of authorization is absurd. Just so everybody's clear, and I know you know this, if they do this war power resolutions thing, it doesn't matter. The president's going to veto it, and they do not have the votes 2/3 in each chamber to overdo it, and it's just ridiculous. And I think all I can think of is that we're going to reach a breaking point, the straw that breaks the camel's back with all this phoniness. But I'll tell you something interesting. The other night on MSNOW, last night, there was no coverage of Iran. They decided to cover wall-to-wall the Texas primary thing, and I found that extremely interesting because what it told me is that it's just possible that even the executives over there, realize that nobody's buying what they're talking
100%.
about.
Dude, this is why we're going 50-50 right now and in the midterms, which means this is a Harvard CAPS poll that we're 8 points ahead. I mean, honestly, the bottom has dropped out of this. Let's take a break and come back. I want to talk about the Supreme Court restoring New York Republican Congressional District and the U.S. Supreme Court saying you can't transgenderize a kid without telling the parents. That's on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
TVM.
Both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly, with no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60%, and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance.
But other than that, there was no reason for Donald Trump to launch an attack on Iran. That is Steve Witkoff. He was negotiating, and they just put out on the table, oh, yeah, we got enough to build 11 bombs. What are you going to do about it? Oh, we're going to bomb the snot out of you. There you go. And, of course, the Democrats go into a briefing yesterday, and they come out. I guess they were wearing Bose, one of those noise-canceling headphones, because they heard nothing. Doug Burns, unbelievable. And then I thought it was really funny yesterday. Dick Blumenthal comes out, and he played like he didn't know what sleeper cells were. Did you see that? They asked him about sleeper cells. He said, what is a sleeper cell? I think he thinks that they're the people the Democrats during the State of the Union.
But you know what's interesting, Rob?
What?
When you reflexively just go against Trump every single time,
yeah.
What happens is, from a logic standpoint, you end up hanging yourself, hoisting yourself with your own petard, whatever the phrase is. Because think about it. After the operation to dismantle their nuclear capabilities, they all jumped right in and said, that wasn't dismantled. They can clearly, still be a huge threat with atomic weapons. Well, if that's the case, guys, all the more justification for what he's doing. So they never think about what they're doing. It was like, if I may digress quickly, Hillary Clinton. She throws a hissy fit, Rob, because they took a photo of her testifying and they sent it out somewhere. Okay. That's the woman who wanted it to be public, Rob.
Yes. Oh, Doug, dude, out of the ballpark there. That's fantastic.
They don't think before they talk. It's that old cliche, the mouth engages before the brain.
Yeah.
So just think of how idiotic that is, but nobody catches those nuances. But it's just unbelievable. To be against, I know I'm a broken record on the show today, I apologize, but to be against what's going on in Iran after the 47-year history, seriously, and the murder of 30,000 people recently. So to be against this, I don't see how you look into the camera with a straight face and expect the American public to buy it.
Or look in the mirror and be proud of yourself. Supreme Court restores New York Republicans' congressional district. This, of course, Nicole Malliotakis. A lot of Democrats are trying to cut Republicans out of gerrymander districts and get rid of them, like in Virginia, by the way, and also Maryland. Your thoughts on this decision?
No, it's a great decision. I read through it, and it's interesting. I mean, she represents Staten Island and a small part of Brooklyn, the 11th Congressional District here in New York. And the New York courts, no big surprise, mandated that the district be redrawn. They took an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, and they shut it down and said, no, we're pausing this. And Sam Alito got into the merits. He said that the New York decision was clearly in contravention of constitutional law having to do with race and so on and so forth. So it's a very nice win, obviously. But again, just to be fair and clear, it's an interim ruling pending the outcome of the case in New York State. But for the time being, it blocks it.
Unbelievable. Did you see yesterday the mayor of New York City could not say whether taking down the Ayatollah was a good or a bad thing?
That's remarkable. It's very interesting what's going on here, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking out the window right here in Manhattan, and Rob, the fact of the matter is that I think people are going to really have a lot of buyer's remorse in this situation. That's point one, and then point two, as I think I said on the show recently, this may turn around and redound to the benefit of much more sane leadership along the lines of Giuliani and Bloomberg as this thing flames out.
Let me ask you this, Doug, and it's a very important question. These mosques that are growing in places like Texas, we had a mosque not far from here who literally had a morning awake for the Ayatollah and said that he is our leader. We know that these are breeding grounds for radicalism, and there is an active attempt to take over the country. It is, Doug. How do we get past First Amendment and go after these mosques, which are breeding grounds for revolution?
Well, there's a much larger issue, which is the amount of people that were led into this country,
Yes.
And then the creation of terror cells, obviously. And the answer to your question, not avoiding it, is obviously if you can develop information to be put in search warrants, and other law enforcement maneuvers showing, direct threats of violence against the United States and so on and so forth, then you got to take law enforcement action. It's that simple. But again, all of the Biden failures are being exposed more and more and more, and I think people are a little bit horrified at what was going on with all these different agendas. I mean, COVID agendas, lockdown agendas, immigration agendas, just breathtaking what went on.
Well, it was a Maoist takeover of the country. That's just what it was, Doug. I mean, dear God in heaven. We don't have enough time really to talk about the U.S. Supreme Court, the victory for parents' rights, dismantling California's secret gender transition. That's just common sense, but hopefully it'll be the death of all of this insanity, which again was part of the Maoist takeover of the country.
No question about it, and it is a good victory because that's just another example of COVID, immigration, et cetera, of just everybody running it completely off the rails. Parents, obviously, 99-1 issue, should have say over their children. Come on.
Unbelievable. Doug, I appreciate you, man. This was a big day today, and I really appreciate your take on it, man. You really knocked it out of the ballpark, brother.
No, I appreciate the kind words. Thanks, Rob.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I don't know if we're streaming, so I don't even know if I should talk. Are we streaming right now? I don't think we are. But I'm going to talk to the camera anyway. Hi, guys. Hello, how are you? We're having some streaming issues. I don't know what the deal is. We got to get it figured out. Xfinity, it might be Xfinity. I'll tell you that Xfinity sucks. Xfinity is terrible, and we think that the Xfinity may be the problem. So I apologize for the issues. It shouldn't be a problem, but it is. We're working on the possibility of moving my studio to a better location. How about that? Would that be cool? I think it would be cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hello, Sport Tech and Conserve 1974. You guys over there on the Rumbly-Roo on the Facebookage. Hello, how are you? Gloria Zimmerman. Hello. Hello, Jeff. Is it Jeff Stoner? You got the best name ever, dude. Jeff Stoner, yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining. You guys are both new to the show, so I'm really glad to have you here. All right, we've got a bunch of stuff that I want to get to here as the show progresses. And I think you're going to find it quite entertaining. What? All right. All right, I'm about ready to do another break here. Brian, you ready? All right, I got to talk here real quick, guys. I apologize. Kind of busy. We got 2 more hours, kids. Here we go.
Got the 3.5 here.
Yep. So to see where the American people feel about the freeing of the Persian people and the taking down of the Ayatollah after 40
is that the fuse of this explosion is 50 years long.
Wow.
Of American and Iranian lives.
You hear that?
Every president since Jimmy Carter has tried to end this conflict.
done nothing.
In 2015, President Barack Obama announced a deal to stall Iran's nuclear
And did nothing.
ambitions. A deal that
He gave them hundreds of millions of dollars.
President Trump replaced with a campaign of maximum pressure and now military might.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
That history is why the president's allies in Congress say he hasn't started a war with Iran. He's finishing one.
Wow, that's CBS. That's how on the wrong side of history the Democrat Party is. Show. We've had some technical difficulties. I wonder, and I do mean this actually, I'd heard yesterday there was some extra, terrestrial activity, nothing to do with space aliens, Alex Jones listeners, and calm down, Alex Jones listeners. Had nothing to do with space aliens, but we have had a little difficulty with everything today. The stream and the terrestrial broadcast, the whole kind of makes you wonder if somebody's messing with us, because we're reaching so many more people now, and maybe they're just messing with us to shut us down. Don't know, don't care, but I'm assuming. Let me hear it in my ear from Brian. Is everything cool, Brian? Is everything sounding great?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. And I have not been abducted by space aliens. I know that many of you were concerned about that because of just my behavior. So there is that. So we will try the stream here. We are on the air right now. I apologize for any inconvenience. It is not fun. But anyway, let's jump right back into it, because I got a ton of stuff to get to that we're running late on now, which means I'm going to talk even faster. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that, because I don't think it's possible, actually, for me to talk any faster. I get told all the time that I talk too fast. That said, let's talk a little bit about this Iran war. It's not a war. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about this. The Democrat Party, as I mentioned, they looked at their behavior during the State of the Union, and they said, hold my beer. Let's really, really, really insult the American people. Let's actually demean our troops in harm's way in real time. And it literally started Sunday morning, right after the campaign began, to be quite honest. You had people like Chris Murphy saying it was a disaster. You have not heard a single Democrat saying, well done. Have you heard a single Democrat say, well done? Have you heard a single Democrat other than saying, Donald Trump killed 6 of our troops? Any of them say, we appreciate the brave service of our men and women in military. It is an enormous sacrifice to lose your life in the defense of your country, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart for doing that. Have you heard any Democrat say that? No, you haven't, because the Democrat Party has proven over the years that they don't love America. They've done everything they can to tear down America. They opened the southern border to destroy America. They let hundreds of thousands of millions of unvetted individuals, possibly hundreds of thousands of enemies of the state, into our country. And now they're complaining when Donald Trump says, let's change the world, let's end the threat, and let's take Iran out. This is Donald Trump yesterday talking about, after 47 years, and this should be obvious if you don't even need to be a student of history. You just have to been alive, long enough to remember why we're doing this.
Something had to be done. And it's been 47 years. They've been killing people all over the world for a long time. They were the kings and fathers of the roadside bomb. Soleimani, we killed him.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Term.
Remember that? Remember a picture of his hand with the ring still on it? If you like it, then you better put a ring on it.
If we didn't, I think it might be a different story today.
Yeah,
they
that
would
was
have been much stronger and smarter than they are. But they did the roadside bombs. 95% of the people lost their legs, arms, had their face wiped out, just wiped out. I've seen some.
When were we going to do something for the lives of Americans that 5 presidents did nothing to stop, including Reagan? After the military, the Marine barracks bombing, it was on my birthday. I think it was in 1981 or 80, I can't remember. But there was a bombing, killed 200 plus Marines. Reagan didn't go after the Ayatollah, didn't say, we're going to knock that son of a gun out. Barack Obama sent him billions of dollars, for God's sake. Barack Obama also, apparently they got remember when they caught one of our drones? I got a story on this. Caught one of our drones, and Obama said, hey, will you please give it back? Here, listen to this. This is what a wuss. This is what you should have known about Barack Obama. Watch him ride a bike, for God's sake.
President Obama confirmed what we first reported here last Thursday. The aircraft captured by the Iranians earlier this month is, in fact, one of America's most sophisticated spy planes.
There you go. Yeah.
The president was asked about it today.
We have asked for it back.
Please, will you please give it back, please?
We'll see how the Iranians respond.
In Iran, experts
don't. Just say don't. That'll do it.
Have been poring over the drone. Iranian TV claimed today that they've recovered data from the RQ-170 aircraft, and a top Iranian military official says they can now reproduce it. though U.S. experts doubt that.
Well, it looks like they have, actually. If you were paying attention, it kind of looks like they have. They had a drone carrier, for God's sake. Unbelievable. And the Democrat Party is still, pitching a fit about this. More from the president.
Young people that it's so sad to watch. And that was almost all, 95% comes from Iran and with Soleimani. Soleimani loved it, his favorite weapon. He loved the roadside bomb. And when you see people walking around with no legs and no arms and a face that's been blown to hell.
I know a lot of them, by the way.
These people, what they have to go and the way they have to live. This is Iran. When you look at...
I have seen so many young soldiers who, charity that I work with, Friends in Service of Heroes, have given track wheelchairs to because they don't have limbs or they're quad or paraplegic. I've seen so many service dogs given for troops who came back from campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq who have profound PTSD, and we presented service dogs with them. And you know what? It's about damn time somebody paid for it. And it looks like the Ayatollah is the one who's doing it. And there's going to be a point where you Democrats are going to have to get behind this, or you're going to be left behind. Because this campaign's going to end pretty quickly. I'm just going to go ahead and predict it's going to end pretty quickly. Because we are annihilating them. We are, and they have failed. They're shooting at their own, allies and whatnot over there. And so other people are joining the fight, including Saudi. So this could end sooner than you think. So I would suggest you do a little rah-rah, you get behind the American flag, and you get behind our troops. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Not to scare you, but AI has completely changed the cybersecurity game. Scams are smarter, malware is faster, and phishing emails look shockingly real. But the good news, you don't need to be a tech expert to stay ahead of it. I'll be back. With WebRoot Total Protection, you are protected. Plus, if you're sick and tired of dealing with a slow computer, WebRoot is cloud-based antivirus and anti-phishing and anti-malware engineered to stay out of your way. And because the intelligence lives in the cloud, WebRoot keeps your computer running light, fast, and smooth, all while defending you in real time against malware, phishing, ransomware, and other threats. Whether you're working, browsing, or streaming, WebRoot is the antivirus protection that works for you, not against you. Make the switch and